Hello friends, welcome back to another video in Microsoft Flight Simulator. This is going to be an exciting one. We haven't flown with the A310 for a while now, and I have to admit this bird is not getting the attention it deserves from me at all. I had very limited exposure to this aircraft and very limited flights completed with the A310. But in my opinion, this is a fantastic airliner that was provided for free by InnoBuilds. Great aircraft, and we are taking her for a spin today. We are wearing Lufthansa colors, the classic livery that I found on flightsim.to, and we will be departing from Echo Bravo Charlie India, Brussels South, to Echo Delta Delta Charlie, Dresden Airport in Germany. This flight should take around 1 hour airtime plus the taxi and preparations, so I'm expecting this video to be maybe a tad bit longer than my usual ones, and even if I try hard to limit my videos to 30 minutes, it's not quite possible with the amount of information I'm trying to cover. So my apologies up front. If it's too long for you, feel free to fast forward the video to the part that you are interested, and hopefully you will enjoy. You can think of this video sort of a hybrid tutorial entertainment type of video where we fly the aircraft on a full flight from A to B while looking to the systems. But different than my regular ones, today we are going to have a virtual co-pilot helping us in the cockpit, provided by Flight Sim First Officer, fantastic add-on in my opinion. And we will have full ATC provided by Pilot ATC. So this hopefully will mimic the real flights in the real world as closely as possible. And we are going to use the built-in checklist in the EFB when we are setting up the aircraft. Anyway, I think that's enough talking. Without further ado, let's jump into the cockpit and let's power up this aircraft. Welcome to the cockpit of A310. We will start with the pre-flight flows and power-up procedure. And as I said, we will have a co-pilot. But one thing I forgot, I said pilot to ATC, but when I was doing some testing, I realized that pilot to ATC does not work well with the A310, so we are not going to use pilot to ATC. My apologies for that. I completely forgot, and I wish it was working because it would have made this experience a lot more enjoyable. But so be it. We will stick to what we have and start with the pre-flight flow. Before doing that, let me just bring the Flight Sim First Officer window. As I said, fantastic add-on, and it has a very humble developer, Matt. He responds to pretty much every message on their Discord, and he's very responsive and very eager to make this add-on one of the best co-pilot, if not the best co-pilot add-on in the market for a very reasonable price. Given the fact that the other Power Copilot add-ons are not that cheap, and I don't think they do all the things that Flight Sim First Officer can do. Anyway, we will start with the pre-flight flow. This is the Flight Sim First Officer window, and the flows, the white text is our co-pilot's responsibility, the magenta is ours, so all of this we need to do. And we'll start with the pre-flight flow and invite our co-pilot to the cockpit.
Good afternoon, Captain.
Good afternoon. She's gonna start performing the safety check, and to show you, let me just move the throttles and see that she will move them back, and she will now get power or turn the batteries on, and she will set the overhead for us. Our responsibility is to set the passenger signs, but before that we need to set our fuel and weights and balances. So we are going to take, according to our Simulate flight plan, we are going to take 11 tons of fuel. I'm rounding it up, it's actually 10,700, but I'm rounding it up to, that's good enough. We have 4,700 50 kilograms of cargo. We'll round it up to 4,800, and we will have 190 virtual souls on board. I hope they change these sliders and give us boxes to enter numbers instead. It kind of works, but it's kind of also hard sometimes to get the right numbers. We will apply this, and that will give us our zero fuel weight and the CG, as well as our gross weight, which we will need for our performance calculations. Alright, so we are fueled virtually instantly, so we can turn our seatbelt signs to on and passenger signs to auto, and while we are powered, we can put the nav light to on and arm the emergency exit lights. Our co-pilot is now starting the APU. As you see, it's on, and APU should be spooling. If we go outside, you can probably hear it. There you go. And when the APU is powered on, she's probably going to ask us if it's okay to board the passengers, which we will respond with voice. Let's monitor the cabin forward temperature on our air conditioning system. When the APU starts running, we should get some temperature readings, because we don't have bleed air at this point. And we will do our own flow of the overhead. Oh, there's the APU power. Hydraulic panel stays like this, flight control panel stays like this. IRS will be aligned by our co-pilot. Pretty much most of the overhead will be done by
The gate
her.
agent is ready. Are we okay to start boarding?
Clear to board. Okay, that will start the boarding. And she is performing the loop tests. And then she will do the annunciator lights test, and she will align the IRS after the oxygen and lights test. This is the lights test. She's gonna do the oxygen test for her side, and we can do it on our side if I can get a better view to push. Let's see. Is it this or is it that one?
CDU programming.
Yeah, we will program the CDU. Just give me a minute. I want to make sure my oxygen is working, but I can't click. Oh, there we go. Okay. Alright, we will start with CDU programming. Align IRS message appeared, which means our co-pilot turned the IRS knobs to nav. We will start with the init. Our departure is Echo Bravo Charlie India. And our destination is Echo Delta Delta Charlie. We'll plug it in here and return. And we will press Align IRS. That will start the alignment. Our alternate is Frankfurt Echo Delta Delta Foxtrot. Return. Clear up the Align IRS message. Clear that one too. What else? Our cost index is 80. Our flight level is flight level 390. We are flying high today. Our flight ID is Deutsche Lufthansa 1874. The cruise wind, according to our plan, is averaging at 19 knots from 290, so 290 at 19 knots. We'll plug it in here. That's the init A page. Init B is our weights and balances. Remember, we have 10.9 block fuel. Our zero fuel was 100.166, I believe. We can double check that. 100.166, yes. We'll plug zero fuel weight in here. That will fill our takeoff gross weight 110.7, 111. That's close, and we took more fuel. That I can understand. Zero fuel weight CG is here, 25.9. We'll plug that in here. And that's our init B page done. We can jump to our flight plan page and start programming our route. We are going to select our SID. We will be departing from runway 06 on SOPO 7 X-ray departure. Insert this, and from SOPOX we are going direct to Etino, Echo Tango Echo November Oscar, and from Etino we are taking an airway, Yankee 8683 863, I'm sorry. That will take us to Ropu. It will enter all the waypoints in between, and from Ropu we are taking another airway, Lima 607, and that will take us to Ubidu. Ubidu, however you want to pronounce it. There are a lot of waypoints. I'm looking for the one that is on my flight plan. And from Ubidu, we are taking another airway, Lima 984, which will take us to Kulok intersection. And from Kulok, let's go down. From Kulok, another airway that will that's going to be Zulu 715 to Abkis, right here. And from Abkis, one more airway, Quebec 240 to DRN. This is Dresden VOR, and from Dresden VOR we have a direct into Dresden Airport with no star. So we will select ILS 04, no star, and no transition, and we will insert this. That completes our flight plan routing. We will check for the discontinuities to make sure we don't have any. There is one. We can clear that. And we will go and check one more time very quickly, and that's looking good. All right. We'll go to the EFB now and calculate our performance. According to our according to our charts, runway 06 is 9,531 meters long. 9,531. Enter that. It's dry. Runway heading is 064. It's also referred as runway QDM. The outside air temperature and QNH is automatic from METAR information. Our takeoff weight, this is the takeoff weight, not the zero fuel weight, is 111066. So we will plug it in there. 111. Was it 066? 111066, correct. So 11106, it will take, I have to click there, 111.06, yep, fuel flaps 1515, NTIs off, air conditioning on, enter and calculate our speeds. 138 V1, 138 V rotate, 165 V2 with a flex temperature of 57 degrees. So we will from here go to takeoff approach page, 138, 138, and V2 is coming from our flight control panel, FCP. According to what we need to do on the flight's first officer window, we have to set the ND to 15, so this guy to 15 miles radius, and let's see if we can turn on the pitch trim, yaw damper, and ATS. That will power our avionics, and we can set 165 on the MCP. Okay, now on the flight sim first officer window, there is this information field that we need to fill out with our V speeds. Initial altitude is 11,000, that's what we are going to climb. SID, yes, flaps 1515, flex temperature 57 if you remember that. And this is what Copilot uses to set everything up. V1, 138, V2, 138, we rotate 138, V2, 165. And max zero fuel weight. Let's check that one too. 10016. I hope that's that. Let me see. Enter the max zero fuel weight center of gravity for the Copilot. Okay, that's the center of gravity, 25.9. And that's all we need to do. Alright, let's go back to the checks or checklist. And our co-pilot should set our MCP or FCU. We will see if that works. She is now setting her MFD. Our IRS is still not aligned. And I'm not seeing any passengers boarding, so this is kind of...
need to set parking brakes to request ground services.
Okay, that might be why. Let's set the parking brake. I'm not sure why she missed it during the pre-flight flow, but this might cause GSX boarding to not to get detected by the flight sim first officer. We don't wanna board
crew boarding
pilots,
starting.
but let's just start the boarding. We have some more time. Our flight control panel is set. We have to set the flex temperature here, but I'm waiting to see if our co-pilot is going to set or if it's at us. Fuel payload, seat star, weather and IFR clearance, program MCDU. Passenger signs and altimeter, they are all set. Pre-flight flow completed. Let's see what else we have. We probably have to set the flex temperature ourselves. So flex temperature to 57. That's our D rate. And that is now all set. One more thing, landing elevation. This should be set by our co-pilot, but unfortunately I'm not seeing that set, so let's go ahead and do that as well. According to the chart on our destination airport. Let me see the elevation very quickly. Airport elevation 754. We will set that here. This is gonna take, well, 750 feet is the landing elevation. So we will set it to 800. Yeah, I think that's 800. I don't think this is yeah, this is hundreds, thousands, 10,000s. I think that's how it is. Alright, so that's all done, and we are waiting for the boarding. Our luggage looks like it's being loaded to the aircraft, as you see here, and we are waiting for the crew to board the aircraft. I'm not sure if they are coming with the bus or walking, but we should see the passengers very shortly. Alright, IRS is now aligned, looks like, and we can complete the pre-flight checklist and then wait for the passengers to board.
Ready for the departure briefing. All right, it will be a left seat takeoff from Echo, Bravo, Charlie, India, to Echo, Delta, Delta, Charlie. Taxi route is per ATC instructions. We'll be departing on runway 06. Climbing via the departure procedures to an initial altitude of 11,000 feet. Standard reject and emergency procedures apply. Any questions?
Pre-flight checklist. Cockpit preparation.
Completed.
Passenger signs.
On.
Fuel
Check.
10855 kilograms. Check. ADIS.
Set.
FMGS.
Set.
Altimeters.
Set.
Checklist complete.
But that's the pre-flight checklist completed. Then we are waiting for the boarding to complete, and we will do the before start flow and request pushback. That's our crew coming to the aircraft, and I'll bring you guys back when the boarding is about to be completed. Okay, we are almost done with the boarding. You gotta love this. Even though the GSX doesn't still work perfectly, it puts a smile on my face when I see passengers boarding the plane like this. It's still adding a lot of immersion to the sim experience. Alright, couple more passengers and we should be ready to close our doors and be on our way. So let's go back into the cockpit now and wait for the boarding to complete, and then we will continue with the before start flow And before start checklist, and then call for pushback. Our doors should close automatically when the boarding is complete. We might be missing some interaction with the flight sim first officer because it didn't detect GSX. I'm still troubleshooting why this is happening, but for now we will live with this. Come on, passengers, we gotta go. What time is it? 10:19, 11 minutes to our departure. And that should be the UTC time. So we are on time. We are not late, which is great. Looks like last 2 passengers and boarding is done. You can also ask for catering if you want to. I just didn't want to make the video longer than it needs to be. Alright, boarding is now complete. And the doors are closing. There we go. We are ready. Okay. Before start flow. She's gonna set the window heat. And what we are going to do. Hydraulics panel, fuel pumps. We will turn on all the fuel pumps. We'll turn on the beacon light. The parking brake is set. That's conflicting with GSX. Give me my checklist, please. A cars, we don't have any
This is
messengers.
to inform you the aircraft
We'll
doors have been
start the
closed.
pilot clock and
In order to push back on
check
time,
the wheel
all
chocks.
passengers must be
So
seated with your
click to
seatbelts
start
fastened.
the clock,
All luggage must be stored in the overhead bin
and
or
that's the
under the
passenger
seat in front
announcement.
of you. The cabin crew will be passing through to make their final safety checks before pushback. Thank you and welcome aboard.
And we will set the runway heading 064 on our heading bug. At this point, if we have a secondary nav aid, we can tune that nav station, or whether it's a VOR or NDB, but I'm not gonna bother with that. And we will just call for before start checklist. Before start checklist.
Before start checklist. Doors.
Closed.
Beacon light.
On.
Parking brake.
Set.
Checklist complete.
Ready for pushback. Okay. Now we have pushback requested. You'll see
Hello, Captain. We are
There
ready
we
for
go.
pushback.
Thank you. We will wait for the pushback crew or the ground crew to put the gear pin, lock the gear, and then we will be ready to push back. And our co-pilot will start our engines. We are not gonna touch anything.
Departure check completed. Bypass pin inserted.
Just waiting for the pushback crew to complete their checks and connect to the aircraft. And we should be on our way. Looks like this altimeter is not set correctly. 1020 is the QNH. Let's set that ourselves. And let's see, nose facing, hold on, nose facing west is, I believe, the direction we need to check. Yes.
Locking gear.
Okay. Looking good. Gonna lift.
Release parking brakes.
Okay, let's release the parking brake.
Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at will.
Okay, let's ask our co-pilot to start the engines after we leave the parking stand. And when we are beyond these red markers. Start engines.
Starting engine 2.
As you see, she is now starting engine 2. Start valve is open. We started to see the N2 increasing. When it passes 20%, she is gonna turn the fuel valve on to introduce fuel, and that should start M1 rotation and ignition. Fuel is on, M1 rotation, and we have ignition. We should see fuel flow very shortly. And we should see the oil pressure rising as well. I'm not sure why we are not reading the fuel pressure or fuel flow. There is some fuel flow.
Set parking brakes.
Okay, the pushback is complete.
Waiting your confirmation for good engine start.
Our co-pilot will confirm the
Starting engine 1.
start. She's starting engine 1 now, and she's gonna do the same thing, waiting for 20% M1 and introduce fuel. Do we have a VOR that we can use on our routes is what I'm gonna check. Yes, we have Ghostly VOR 115.7. We can set that here. Oh, no, I need to get there. I'm not sure if this is that. No.
Engine 1 cut out.
Okay, never mind. This is probably for landing. Alright. And she should command and tell them that we have a good engine start. And as you see, the counter is showing 14 or 10 seconds. And then we will confirm that we had a good engine start, and they will disconnect.
All engines stable.
Cockpit to ground. We have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
Unlocking gear.
There we go. I didn't have to open the GSX window at all, and we can continue with the after start flow. After start flow. Okay, she's gonna set the auto brakes, set the flaps, rudder and trim, reset. FCU is set. Ignition. We can set the ignition to off or continuous ignition for takeoff. That's what we need to do. Which one was my overhead view? Okay, continuous relight. And I am
Torch rack disconnected. Bypass pin removed.
anti-ice is not required. Taxi lights
Left is
can
clear.
come
Right is
on.
clear.
And spoilers, we can set the spoilers or arm them. There we go. Taxi clearance and trim. Trim should be set, but let me see here. Do we have a trim setting on our performance calculation? One zero up, yes. Okay, let's go and do it. So we will set the trim to 1 up. That's good. And we are ready to leave. Let's do the taxi checklist. Taxi checklist.
Taxi checklist. Trim.
Set.
Spoilers.
Armed.
Flaps.
Set.
Ecam memo.
Checked.
Anti-ice.
Set.
Flight controls. Full left. Full right. Full back. Full forward. Rudder full left. Rudder full right. Check.
Checked.
Takeoff warnings.
Checked.
Transponder.
Set.
Checklist complete.
So she did set the transponder to TR IRA, she did set the flaps, and we did our part, and now we are ready to taxi. So let's disengage the parking brake and get going. Okay. A little bit of thrust, and we should get rolling. Our taxi routing is, let me see the chart very quickly. We are going to take this next left turn to Mike 4, and we should be seeing it on the ground markings. That's actually the stand number, but this is Mike 4. And then we'll take a right turn to November, take November all the way down to November 1, and that will take us to runway 06. Alright, let me correct my view and focus on taxi. Very nice. I hope you guys liked this kind of video with the virtual first officer. I wish we had the ATC as well. That would have made this a lot more fun, but we will try it with another aircraft. Alright, we'll take this right turn. Why are these micro stutters happening? I'm not sure. Maybe it's the scenery. And we can probably use a little bit more speed. Let's give her a little bit more thrust to accelerate just a tiny bit more. And while we are taxiing, we can do a takeoff config check, which is here.
From the cockpit, this is your first officer. We just wanted to take a moment to welcome you aboard and thank you for flying with us today. Our taxi to the runway should be pretty uneventful, and we're anticipating an on-time departure. Just sit back and relax, and we'll have you in the air shortly.
That was our co-pilot talking to our passengers. And we are taxiing just fine. And that's the view of Brussels leaving the airport. I love the swing views. They are so nice. Now let's focus on taxiing. Do not drift off the taxiway. I kind of do this a lot. Alright, when we get closer, we will hold short and do the before takeoff checklist. Alright, we are kind of on a slope. Let's give her a little bit more thrust to easily get over this slope and get to the runway. So far, I think everything is looking good. We haven't armed the auto throttle yet. I'm not sure if it's going to be the co-pilot or us. And we haven't armed the nav and other stuff, but we'll see. And I'm having a hard time remembering what we need to do with this aircraft. And APU is still running. I'm not sure if we need to turn it off ourselves, but let's just take off and we will worry about that when we are climbing. We could have turned it off already, but it was not one of the checklist items after start. I'm not sure if we missed it, but we will stop the APU, or we can go ahead and stop it right now. APU coming off. And we are accelerating a little bit more than I like, so let's brake just a tiny bit. And this next turn on our left is gonna take us to runway 06. We could have taken this entry too, but I wanna use the full runway. What is our transponder range? There is no range setting, is there? Anyway, maybe it's this range controlling that too. Because I am seeing 6 miles. I'll figure it out. I know I have worked and found it before. I just don't remember right now how we are going to increase the rate on the TCAS system that's here. But so far, no serious events, and we should be on our way very shortly. Alright, that is runway 6. And let's do the before takeoff checklist.
Before takeoff checklist. Cabin.
Notified.
Hat.
Set.
Ignition.
Set.
Checklist complete. Flight attendants prepare for takeoff.
Alright. We will set our lights. Nose wheel to take off. Runway turn off lights. Landing lights to on. And we will put the strobes on. We don't need the wing light. And looks like I missed my turn. Gotta do better multitasking. But all is good. There's the runway. Let's pull forward just a tiny bit to get to the threshold. There we go. Now we'll see what else our co-pilot will do after takeoff. This should change when we are up in the air, but let's go ahead and start our takeoff run. I am just increasing the throttles until I see flex on our FMA.
On taxiway.
Check.
On taxiway.
Right. This is not a taxiway, by the way. That was wrong.
100 knot.
Check.
Checked. I hope we can get up in the air.
V1. Rotate.
Rotate. Alright, we are up in the air.
Positive rate.
Gear up.
And we'll arm the other throttle.
V2. Gear up.
LNAV.
LNAV on.
Okay. So far so good. We are climbing. And we gotta do slight left turn. Follow the flight director here.
VNAV.
VNAV on.
Why am I not getting full thrust? Oh, that's the other trouble. Okay, let's increase our speed to 210. 220 or get close to 250 actually. And that should get us where we need to be. There we go. Autopilot on.
Command A on.
After takeoff checklist.
After takeoff checklist. Landing gear.
Up.
Flaps.
Up.
Pat.
On.
Checklist complete.
Alright, I pulled the flaps in. I could have asked our co-pilot to do that too. What is happening with the autopilot? Aren't we just climbing? Anyway, continuous ignition is turned off by our co-pilot, and we don't need our co-pilot until we are ready to descend. We are still climbing, kind of slowly, and looks like weather is a little bit funky. So, we'll see. Let's... do I go to auto speed? I can't remember this, if it was. APU generator off on messages displayed there, but we don't have the APU on, do we? No. Okay. And somehow we are not climbing. Oh, maybe that's my... Hold on. Maybe that's my interaction. Interesting.
VNAV on.
Are we climbing? No, we're not climbing. I'm not sure why not. There we go. Now we started climbing. Maybe there was just a glitch. Okay, that's better. And now the speed went to automatic. Now we are talking. I'm not sure what happened there, guys. Alright, we should keep it at 250. We are climbing like crazy now. That's a very aggressive pitch due to the speed we picked up. So hopefully it will balance itself out. And look at that wind, it's throwing us from left to right. That's very interesting. But anyway, there we go. Leaving 2 cells. Okay, she's gonna set the altimeters to standard. And we will set the standby ourselves. And looks like we are climbing like crazy. Let's check the progress page, shall we? Interesting. Climb, echo climb. Yeah, that's all looking good, but I'm not sure why the speed is...
Change mode on.
Oh, not level change mode, please.
VNAV on.
Okay, let's switch back to VNAV. And we are climbing like crazy, so I'm gonna set our altitude to our cruise level. I did that initially by thinking we will use the ATC, but we are not gonna use ATC, so we can climb directly to our flight level of 390.
10,000 feet.
She's gonna turn off the landing lights. $39,000 set. Oops. And that should be it. We can release the passengers and we will be APU generator off, right? Why am I getting this warning? Let's see here. Here. Do we have APU generator on still? Let's see. We turned off the APU. That's the starter. Fuel, electrical power. Oh yeah. Oh, we should not see any messages. Okay, guys. That's pretty much it for the takeoff. and I will meet you guys when we are at the cruise level. Okay friends, we are almost at our cruise level, and we gotta do a couple of things to prepare our aircraft for descent. As you see, we are at 38,000 feet, 1,000 feet to go. We'll start with going into the progress page and filling out our descent forecast. So we will enter flight level 350. Let's clear that message so that you see what I'm typing. And winds are coming from let me see this, 279er at 32 knots. So 279er at 032.
From the flight deck, we've reached our cruising altitude. The flight attendants will begin their service shortly.
Flight
In the
level
meantime,
200.
please keep your seatbelts fastened as turbulence can occur at any time.
268 at 14 knots. And finally, flight level 100. 000 at 01 knots. Interesting, no winds or super calm, which is what we want. That's flight level 100, and at our destination, winds are coming from 360 at 3 knots. That's the descent forecast completed. We'll go to the takeoff approach, and we'll just select 3040 landing configuration is what we are selected. You can also do 2020, but we will do this, and that will calculate our approach speed 134, flap retraction speed, slap retraction, and VFTO. That's for go around, and our MDA, which we need to enter here for our destination, is, let me see that, 976. Let's plug that in. I'm not sure if this needs round, and that is our approach calculation done. Not sure what this does, I don't want to press it, and we'll have to set the ILS frequency for our approach. That's 110.5, 110.5, and the course is 038. That's the ILS frequency set. I'm not sure why I cannot set the VOR. I'm pretty sure there is a setting that I don't remember right now. If you know, please let me know in the comments. I will be looking for that as well. But we are now cruising nicely. We need to descend down to 4,000 feet for glide slope. And if we check the flight plan page, we should see our restrictions there. And the 4,000 should be there. That's our top of descent, and then going down, and then 4,000, 4,000, as you see. All is looking good. And 162, 153, 180 at Dresden VOR. So those are the speeds. So far, so good. We will continue like this, and I will bring you guys back when we are ready to descend and continue with the descent checklist using Flight Sim First Officer. Welcome back, friends. We are almost at our top of descent, and we will set the aircraft to start the descent. You can descend in many different ways. Today we are gonna use the profile, which is the VNAV, an early implementation of VNAV, and as far as I know, A310 is the first Airbus that supports VNAV. So we will first set the altitude. We'll hold the right mouse button. That will give us 1,000 increments, and set the altitude to 4,000. And what we need to do now is to pull the switch so that we arm the descent. we are getting close, so we can do that now. I'm gonna pull the switch, and as you see, P descent is armed in blue, which means when the aircraft reaches top of descent, it's gonna start descending on its own. You can also do this by selecting the profile. The moment you press the button, the aircraft will start descending, but it will not descend as fast until it catches up to the profile. So those are two options. We'll see how it goes, because in the first Airbus A310 videos I have started descent early, I believe, but we'll see if the aircraft will do a nose dip when we let it go to the top of descent and initiate the descent on its own. Also note that when you are on profile, we have no control of our speed, so we cannot change it. And when we are getting close to landing, we will discuss how we are going to change the mode and control our speed to slow the aircraft down and accelerate down to, or decelerate down to the flap speed, etc., etc. Just a little bit more, so I'm gonna keep you guys here and wait until we descend. One thing I forgot, this button here is a hidden secret toga button. So when you are taking off, you can advance the throttles to 50% and press this, and then the auto throttle will kick in and it will command the flex temperature that you set to do the takeoff roll. So keep that in mind. Sorry, I forgot, and I just took with manual thrust. But you can also do it with auto thrust by pressing this button. After advancing the throttles and getting 50% M1, press this and auto throttle will take over.
Approaching top of descent.
Yep, we know we are approaching top of descent. It says 9 miles. So, and we will do the descent checklist when we start the descent. Just to get ready, we'll turn the passenger signs on. And we will wait until the aircraft reaches the top of descent marker on the navigation display. Just a little bit more, 10 miles. I can drop the range to see a little bit better if I want to. And we'll see how this all plays out. We are feeding fuel from the center tank and transferring it to the other tanks, as you see here. And we don't have anything to do over here just yet. But the range button of the TCAS system is here, and you have two different ranges, 12 and 6 miles. So this is again, I guess, an early TCAS system that doesn't give you a greater range like the ones in the modern airliners, but so far so good. It detects the traffic and puts blue dots on the screen, and if they are in a collision path with you, it first turns to yellow and then red, and then you will hear the warning system telling the pilot to climb or descend to avoid the conflict. Alright, just a little bit more. In the meantime, I set the decision height. Landing elevation was already set. We also set the decision height in the MCDU. And the last thing I did was to bug the decision height here using this, because our altimeter doesn't talk with the MCDU, so it doesn't know what our minimums are. So I set the minimums here, and these are radio minimums, not barometric that you set on the altimeter. This is also radio. The one in the MCDU is barometric. Okay, coming up to top of descent. P descent started flashing, which is telling us that the aircraft is about to descend, and as you see here, we kind of accelerated a little bit, which means our descent speed, calculated descent speed, is different than our cruise speed. Alright, almost there. Almost there. And if we go to the progress page, one thing I did here is enter the runway to the bearing distance marker, so that I know my exact distance to the runway by just checking this distance here. Approach page is already done. We are landing with flaps 30-40. MDA is set. And we have couple speed here. S speed is where the aircraft will not slow down beyond this speed until you select the flaps. And that's when you can take control. Otherwise it will maintain this speed. Alright, so that's all. We will keep the speeds here. And looks like we started descending. Perfect. And we have a vertical profile indicator here. That shows us if we are deviating from the vertical profile or not. We are currently a little bit high. And you have to help this aircraft. You can't just expect the aircraft to descend on its own after selecting the profile, because it will need some assistance. As you see, we are drifting, and how you can see, another way is vertical deviation is now increasing here, so it makes sense to extend the speed brakes a little bit, doing it slowly until you get to roughly 50% of the speed brakes, the range of the lever, just like so. And that should help us that should help the aircraft get back on the profile. If we check here, vertical deviation should start going down. As you see, it's coming down, and the aircraft will get back on profile with our help on the speed. So far, so good. And we will descend all the way down, and I'll bring you guys back when we are ready to pass below 10,000. I guess one thing I forgot is to do the descent checklist, so let's do that.
Ready for the approach briefing. Okay, we're expecting the ILS approach for runway 04. The minimum altitude is 200 feet. We'll use auto brakes medium. We can expect to park at gate 3. In case of go around, we'll climb per ATC instructions on the runway heading. Any questions?
Descent checklist. Passenger signs.
Set.
Briefing.
Completed.
Ecam memo.
Checked.
Altimeters.
Set.
Minimums.
Set.
Ignition.
Set.
Landing elevation.
Set.
Checklist complete.
So I'm not gonna set the altimeters yet, even if the checklist calls for it, because it's too early to switch to the standard altimeter. But
ILS set.
From the flight deck again, you've probably already noticed we've started our descent. We're not anticipating any delays and should pull into the gate in 20 to 25 minutes. Until then, just sit back and relax, and we'll have you on the ground shortly.
okay, I'm gonna set it when we are below 10,000. I actually told flight sim first officer to set the altimeters at 9,000 feet. The transition altitude is 5,000, but I'd like to set my altimeters a little bit early, because I usually forget to set them and it creates some problems with landing. Alright, looks like we are descending nicely. And we are on profile. Actually, we are below the profile just a tiny bit, which is fine. And we will keep going like this, and I'll bring you guys back when we are ready to pass below 10,000. Welcome back. We are getting close to 10,000, and the aircraft should start decelerating to 250 knots. We'll see if that happens. We still have 2,800 feet to go, but we should see the aircraft decelerating to 250 knots to get ready to pass below 10,000. And when that happens, our co-pilot will also set our landing lights, and she already set the ILS frequency 110.5, final approach course of 039er. It's actually 038 on the chart, so I'm not sure. Microsoft Flight Simulator is slightly different, but we will keep it as is. I am not sure whether Flight Sim First Officer is reading this information. I'm assuming it's reading it from the scenery, so we will use that. Alright, 12,000. We are still at 60% M1 and maintaining the speed. And if we check the flight plan page, we are not gonna slow down until we reach BSIP. That's kind of too late in my opinion. So we need to be able to change that hopefully. And I tried to do this on the FMS. And it is not taking what I'm putting in there. Can we maybe do this by selecting here, new waypoint, route, star hold? No, there is no speed option here. That's kind of bummer that I'm not able to set my speed. But we are getting down to 10,000, so the aircraft should start slowing down very shortly. There we go, we started decelerating.
We have reached an altitude that requires all electronics to be turned off and stowed for landing.
We are still
You may
maintaining the
continue to
profile.
use your handheld phones and tablets in airplane mode. Thank you.
It's decelerating quite nicely. I'm not feeling the need to help with the speed brakes. We are still on profile. 250 is highlighted in blue. So we should go down to 250 very shortly, before passing below 10,000, and the lights should be coming on as we pass below 10,000, and our co-pilot should check those and set it. I'm also trying to keep my heading box synced. That's a habit I'm trying to gain, which helps when you have some issues with the autopilot. You can quickly switch to the heading mode and still keep continuing on your flight plan path. So that's something I'm trying to get used to. But as you see, we are almost at 250 knots. Let's double check the vertical deviation, because I think we started drifting again and increasing our deviation. So maybe adding some speed brakes might be helpful to get us down to 250 knots. I'm slowly advancing the speed brake lever, and that should give us what we need and slow us down to 250 knots. There we go, that's better, and we should get back on the profile very shortly with the speed brakes slowing us down. As you see, the diamond started climbing again when it gets to the center, which means we are on profile. And we are about to clear 10,000. Let's see what our co-pilot will do. That's 10,000. There we go. Landing lights are coming on. She's also turning the nose wheel light to take off. That's wrong. It turns on to taxi, and it is done after the landing gear is down. So I'm gonna change that and do it myself. These are a couple things, but I will make a note and let the developer know so that he can fix it. And passing 9,000, she should set the altimeters. We'll see. You'll hear the co-pilot saying transition altitude when we get to 9,000, and the altimeters should be set. Current QNH at our destination is 1022. Let's see if that happens as well. I think I'm gonna put more speed brakes just to help the aircraft get back on profile. We are quite high right now. Not quite, but we are high. 500 feet difference between our flight plan path and our current altitude. Alright. We are at 9,000. Let's see how the altimeter is going to change things. Okay. It didn't do anything.
Transition altitude.
Oh, it did. Oh, there you go. Now
Check.
the QNH is set, and we are even deviating more. So let's wait for the aircraft to get back on profile and get back down to 4,000 hopefully before it's too late. That's the marker showing and calculating where we will reach our we will reach our set altitude. which is 4,000, and from there we will plan and program the aircraft for landing. Alright, profile is getting back up. Our co-pilot also selected the auto brakes. I'm not sure if I mentioned this, maybe I did. And we are almost back on profile, which is great. Alright, so should get back to descending and get back to 4,000 feet as soon as possible, as quickly as possible, and looks like we are going to get there at BESIP. We are still not on profile, so that's why I'm keeping the speed brakes out to help the aircraft slow down, or to help the aircraft descend without accelerating. Alright, we started seeing the glide slope diamond, which means we can switch the ILS mode on. And remember, this is a direct in approach. And I'm waiting for the aircraft to come down to 4,000. I want to extend the slats when we are below 240, I believe, is the speed that you need to be at. And as I mentioned, we won't be able to set this speed when we are on profile. Alright, looks like we are slowly getting back on the profile while maintaining the speed. And that will keep shifting back and forth as the aircraft starts bouncing around with the wind. And I don't think this is realistic. We have 10 knots of wind and it is throwing the aircraft from left to right. An aircraft this size shouldn't get affected by a 10 knot wind or crosswind. It is kind of unrealistic, but I am assuming there is something wrong with the Microsoft Flight Simulator live weather again that causes this kind of issues. Alright, 6,200, and now as you see the aircraft starts getting back on profile, and we should start descending too, because we are very close now. Alright, let me see. We are very close. Actually, BESIP is, I believe, our initial fix. We can arm the land mode at this point, but if you do this too early, glide slope will be armed or engaged prematurely, which will cause some issues with landing, so that's why I don't want to do it. And that's why I'm waiting to get down to 4,000. I'm trying to remember what's the slat speed. Can I?
Speed check.
Okay, slats 15 I selected. The aircraft should slow down now and it should help us get back on profile. I'm gonna bring the speed brakes in and arm them. So let's see if the speed window opens and if we can slow down. I'm gonna slow down to 220.
Level change mode on.
And it will switch to level change because it cannot do this when it's on profile. Okay, we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. We want to get down to 220, or we want to get down to 4,000 feet. And we are still drifting away from the profile. That's the airport right in the distance. We still have some time to get there, but I'm kind of, and there's a message warning saying less drag, so it wants us to apply some speed brakes. Okay, let's give her some help and bring the speed brakes out. This should help with the speed. Oh, this should help with the altitude. Alright, we are close to 4,000. Oops. Yeah, that's the overspeed warning. We are almost there. I'm kind of worried. Let's arm the localizer and land mode. That should help, hopefully help with the landing part of things. Are we above the airport? No. Yeah, that's the airport. Now the aircraft is trying to line up with the localizer. And we should be fine from here. Okay, that's the airport right in front of us, and we are lining up, which is fine. And aircraft started to slow down to 220 after capturing the localizer star. And when we are on the glide slope, we should see glide slope star and the speed window should open. Now we can bring the speed brakes in and arm them. Now they should be armed. Yes, they are. And I'm waiting for the aircraft to slow down. Flaps 15. We can ask our co-pilot as well. Flaps 15.
Flaps 15.
Oh. We were a little bit faster, I guess. Okay. That should help. And we are almost on the glide slope. Did we capture? No. Why?
Altitude.
Okay, now, as you see, that's the problem. The glide slope will not be armed if you are doing it too early, and that's a problem. But now we should be good. We are below the glide slope though. We should... Okay, let's do this. I think we missed the window. So let's go to localizer. And then level change. Can we get...
Landing checklist. Landing gear.
Now I need to find a way to descend. Alright, I'm gonna drop the landing gear. Disconnect the autopilot. There is no way we are getting back on glide slope, so I'm gonna land visually. And you guys have seen it. I'm gonna slow the aircraft down to our final approach speed. It was 133. And we'll keep extending flaps.
Auto brake.
Set.
Flaps.
Set.
Spoilers.
Alright, I'm trying to get back on the glide slope. And keep going flaps.
Checklist complete.
Okay.
Flight
Now,
attendants prepare for landing.
I need to align everything myself. And I need to start getting down to the glide slope. I hope I can do that. And let's...
Level change mode on.
go to level change and maybe just
Altitude.
disconnect autopilot. Yep. Okay, we are getting down. I'm not sure if we will... Oh, okay, glide slope diamond is coming up, so we need to align with the localizer too and slow down. The aircraft cannot slow down because I'm descending way too fast to catch up the glide slope. But, well, unfortunately we missed that window, so we can't
Altitude.
use this. That's the Mr. Approach altitude that I set. Oh, actually it was 5,000, my bad. Let's do that. 5,000, okay. We need to slow down. And we are on localizer. So from here, I think we should be good. Let's not lose the glide slope. And I want to be able to slow down, but somehow I can't, because I am descending too fast. Now we started to slow down. I think that's a good sign. Landing gear.
Gear down.
Down. That should give us more drag
Gear
and
up.
slow us down.
Gear down.
Gear down.
Oh, that's the co-pilot messing with me. Alright, now it's better. Let's see if we can go flaps 20. Maintain the glide slope. We are high, I know that. Trying to get back on profile without losing too much altitude and without accelerating too much. Okay, that's better. Let's pitch the nose up and keep on this course to get back on the localizer.
Flaps 20.
Flaps 20.
Okay, the rest will be taken care of by the co-pilot. We are on puppies, 2 white, 2 red. We are on glide slope and the localizer. I'm hand flying, by the way. Losing the glide slope slightly. Let's get back on it. And the localizer as well, but so far I think we are going to be fine. Okay, 1000. Pull up a little bit, pitch the nose up, trimming for nose up to stay on the glide slope. 300 checked. Localizer looks good. I'm too low, so I'm trying to.
Flaps 40.
Final stage of flaps. And I think we are good now. Alright, yes we are.
Minimums.
Continue. I'm gonna disconnect the auto throttle. And we are a little bit high now. Cut the throttles. And some rudder. Come on. Touchdown. Alright. It's a little bit stuttery, I don't know why.
Reverse
Reversers
green.
are in.
Decel.
We are decelerating. And we will take the next exit to vacate the runway. Alright, not bad landing. I wish we didn't miss the glide slope, but we did, so manual braking, disengage the reverse thrust, slow the aircraft down and take this exit.
Dear passengers, welcome to our destination airport. Please remain seated until all docking procedures are
Okay.
completed and the fasten
Let's
seatbelt
take the
sign
exits.
is turned off. On behalf of our captain and crew, we would like to thank you for flying with us. We hope you enjoyed your flight today and hope to see you again soon.
This is good. After landing flow. Okay. We are responsible for setting the landing lights, so nose wheel to taxi, landing lights retracted, strobe back to auto. The co-pilot should start the APU and set everything else, and now we can taxi. According to what I see, we are assigned... Where was it? I need to find it. Flight Sim First Officer assigns you a gate. Oh, 33. Okay, we are looking for gate 33, so let me pull the taxi chart and find where 33 is. Okay, I found it, so we will taxi. We will add some throttle to help us move a little bit faster. Look outside, because I'm still suspecting that the reversers are still on. Oh no, they are not. Alright, back on the taxiway and keep going. Alright guys, I hope it was a fun flight for you to watch. Unfortunately, we were not able to do an ILS, missed the window for glide slope, so which is fine. We managed and flew the aircraft into the airport, which is always fun. I kind of enjoy it. I don't like to do it when I'm recording because there are too many things going on and it's just making things a little bit harder, but this time it went smoothly. We floated a little bit, but it was fine. Okay, ground speed is getting about 30. Let's cut the throttles and stay on the taxiway. This is good. And we should be at the gate very shortly. It should be somewhere over there. Gate stand 33 or gate 33, whichever it is. We don't need the constraints anymore. We can go back to nav. Flight directors are turned off by the co-pilot. We can bring the speed down to 100 and potentially leave the altitude at 10,000. That's what the Airbus does, I believe. And set the heading to 0 just to prepare the aircraft for the next crew or next flight. And that's pretty much it. Anything else I'm forgetting here? No. We should have the APU running now. An APU generator online, which we can also go down and check through the systems page. There should be a DC page here that should show us the electrical system, DC system, which is powered. AC system is powered. Oops, I'm drifting. APU generator is online. I see it here. Okay, that's what I was looking for. So now our gate should be the next left, and last stand on our right is gate. Oh, on our right is gate 33. So we will park there. Slow down quite a bit, or this aircraft is not moving faster. I'm not sure which one it is. I kind of feel like its taxi is slower than the departure taxi, but we'll take this next left and get ready to park. I'm not sure if this gate will be big enough, so GSX might warn us, and that will impact our deboarding. Maybe I'll quickly fix it. And I hope there is no aircraft parked at that gate that's assigned by the flight sim first officer, because it doesn't have a way of reading the current parking aircraft from the sim. So if that's the case, let me just go outside and look before it's too late. Yeah, there is an aircraft at that gate, so we will just pick the opposite one over here. We'll take gate 36. Slow down for the turn to 10 knots ground speed and slowly turn the aircraft towards the gate. While doing that, turn the taxi light off. We don't want to blind anyone waiting there. And keep going until we park. I feel like throttle response is degraded after landing. I'm not sure why. So let's see how well we can park now. I'd like to stop maybe like this and see if we did a good job with parking. Not bad, but there's still some room. As I said, I'm still not quite good at gauging where my front wheel is or nose wheel is. Let's cheat. It's not gonna hurt. Let's stop here. Alright. Finally. Let's... Parking brake engaged. We didn't hear anything from the
You need to stop
GSX.
the engines to request ground
Okay,
services.
yes, we will. Shutdown flow. So the co-pilot will set the window heat, probe heat, APU. APU should be available, yes it is. Fuel pumps, transponder, and we'll shut down the engines.
This parking is too small for your aircraft.
This is what I feared. Okay. Let me fix this, guys, very quickly, and we will continue and deboard the passengers and wrap up the video. Okay, I think I fixed it. So let's turn off the passenger seat belt signs. And we should see deboarding requested by GSX or the co-pilot.
Shutdown checklist. APU bleed.
Set.
Engines.
Off.
Autopilot.
Off.
Exterior light.
He's waiting for the beacon.
As required.
Passenger signs.
Off.
Fuel pumps.
Off.
Pitot head.
Off.
Window heat.
Off.
Parking brake.
Set.
Checklist complete.
Okay. There we go. Finally. Okay guys, that's it for the video. It's been a long one, I know. Thanks for being here with me. If you enjoyed the video, please consider giving it a like. If you are not a channel subscriber and stumbled upon this video, please take a couple seconds to hit that subscribe button. I appreciate your support, and I'll be seeing you in the next video.
Passengers bus is coming.